Hello, this is Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and I took my grandson, 6-year-old grandson, out to fly my Mavic Mini, and this is the night before where I'm setting everything up. I'm setting up so it'll be set for payload, and I'm also reducing the distance that the drone can fly. As you'll see, the maximum altitude is going to be around 68 feet, and then the maximum distance is going to be around 60 feet somehow. And so then I get that all set up for the next day. And the next day, we're planning on having some fun. There was a little bit of a breeze, but that Mini doesn't have any trouble with the breeze that we had that day. And so we went out to the park, and I checked all my distances, and I think I lowered the altitude a little bit and changed things before I turned it over to my grandson. Now here I'm taking off and just making sure everything is set the way I want it to be, and I'll check the maximum distance and so forth. And you'll notice it moves sideways because there was a breeze coming from the east. I kind of wondered why it moved sideways, and then did you see there it gave me a strong wind warning, and it gave me a maximum power load. But old Mr. Kent, he was just watching not paying attention to the warnings and just making sure the distance thing worked and all that. And it's about time for me to turn it over to my grandson. And one thing that I didn't realize, I put the prop guards on so that if it ran into him, it wouldn't hurt anything. It wouldn't hurt him or anything. And I kept showing him how to do the control sticks and the moving the camera up and down, but I didn't pay any attention to the maximum load. And there you can see in the lower left-hand corner, got up to 48 feet and out to 64 feet, and I showed him how it won't go any further. And so we were all set to go. What I didn't realize was the prop guards are extra weight, and that makes the motors have to work harder. But the prop guards also stick out all around the drone, and they pick up the wind, and it has to fight harder to stay where it is. So all this time I'm showing them how it runs and showing them how to control things and not paying any attention to the warnings on the screen. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so please don't laugh. But now I give it over to him, and he is now flying. And I've watched a bunch of first-time flights, and he's pretty much just like all the other guys that fly their drone for the first time. He's experimenting with the sticks, and he also already has an RC car that him and his dad each have some cars, and they play around. So he's kind of used to doing the RC thing, and now he's out to the maximum distance, 61 feet, and I think he's just experimenting with everything. And he's going to come around here, and there we are. And of course he's doing all the flying, and I'm just standing there. I'm answering questions, and every once in a while I'll point to something and show him that there, and that proves right there that I'm not flying the drone, as you see me waving. And he's just having a little bit of fun moving it around. Like I said, he's probably got enough training with RC cars that he knows not to push sticks all the way and so forth. So he's experimenting with the sticks and altitude and the gimbal angle and all that kind of stuff. And then he's going to go up here, and he's going to notice, well, pretty soon his grandma's going to come walking out. And I'm surprised and amazed at how he did what he did in order to trace her as she was walking across the field. All this time, got that maximum power load showing up in the screen, but when I look down at him, I'm looking at where his thumbs are, and I'm not looking at the screen, and he doesn't know what that means. So he's just having fun. And here comes his grandma, and he's going to notice her, which amazed me. And then he began to follow her as she was walking across the field. And I was pretty proud of him. Naturally. What granddad wouldn't be? And so now you'll notice he's gonna do what he can do to follow her as she's going, and then he loses it. All right, now he's going to catch up with things. I noticed a couple of times he did move things the wrong way, and he just wasn't familiar with it. And then Grandma, she's going to take a picture here. And there he is. And then she took another picture at some point, and you'll notice the angle that the drone is, because we had an east wind. And like I said, the prop guards just work like sails, and they just, the wind caught it and made it a lot more difficult for the drone to fly. And you'll notice we're still getting the maximum power load. Well, if you noticed, he ran across, he wanted to go get a drink of water. He was probably, well, he always likes to drink water. Now I'm going to fly over there and watch the upper left-hand corner of the screen now. That it's going to turn red, and then it's going to say aircraft impact, because finally it did what it's designed to do. When it got to be where it was going to burn something out, it just landed. But I had no idea why. Believe it or not, I didn't know that was happening. So anyway, we just kept flying, and we kept getting that warning, but I never noticed it. And Ryan, we went through a couple of batteries, and it crashed 2 more times like that. So by the time we were through, I was pretty frustrated. I didn't know why, because I never gave any thought to the wind catching the prop guards, and the breeze that we've got just barely blowing. If you watch the trees, there was a breeze, but it didn't seem to me that should be bothering the drone. So anyway, we had a lot of fun, and we were there for quite a long time, and every time it would crash, I'd just restart everything, and didn't know until I got home and started looking at the videos, and I went to air data and looked at the data that was taking place, and it was just overloaded, and so it would come down and land. And there his grandma's waving at him. That makes his day. And I don't know if he was trying to wave back with the gimbal or not, but anyway. All right, so we flew around, and oh, there we are. He's so happy. I had my cap cam on, but forgot to push record. I tell you what, I was so excited, and oh yeah, look at that. Did you notice that it was so windy that it caught the prop guard in the corner? So anyway, I learned a couple things. Number one, don't use prop guards outside unless it's dead calm, and you probably don't even need to use them. And there's my little buddy. Pay close attention to the screen. I probably won't. I probably still do the same thing, but that's where I made my mistake. All right, want to thank you for watching, and God bless.